ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य म आणीस्थ श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May my speech be firmly established in my mind. May the mind too be firmly established in my speech. O self-effulgent Lord, be revealed unto me. May the truths of the scriptures come to me. May not what I learn from them ever forsake me. Let me live my life day and night according to their teachings. I shall speak what is appropriate. I shall speak the truth. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us feel our true divine nature. That is our true identity. Our other temporary identities may for now be forgotten. That is like my physical identity. This is my height, this is my weight, this is my birthday, these are my parents. Let all that be transcended. That is not my true identity. Also, my mental qualities, they also are not my true identity. That is also just like a jacket put on. My true identity is the unchanging, ever luminous, all pervading, all our desires, our mad running about to fulfill them. is gone. For I am perfect. I have no desires. I have no birth, no growth, no death. I am bliss itself. It all appears so silly to try to get happiness for something outside. I am happiness. I am peace. I am love. Om. Peace. 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 So, dear friends, let us begin with our today's class with the usual chant. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadattatam Bhuvi grinanti te Bhurida janaha. We have been studying the chapter about the early manifestations of this teachership or Guru Bhava in this world teacher Sri Ramakrishna. The whole appearance of God in human form is the teachership. There is no other purpose except to impart this wisdom about our essential blissful nature. You don't have to do anything to get happiness from somewhere, but to see that you are happiness itself. This is demonstrated in the life of this God incarnation, so that we also will be able to relate to that. We learn by seeing, by comparing with others, that this person is doing it right. What am I doing wrong? Let me see. It is, and then we compare. Here I was making a big mistake, and thus we change our style, our functions, and thus we become like that. So, therefore, such great teachers, or even any spiritual teacher, is compared to be something more than that philosopher's stone. That philosopher's stone is something that you touch to something, a base metal, and it becomes gold. So it is certainly a very valuable thing, but it does not convert it to the philosopher's stone itself. It converts it to something else. You touch to, say, iron, and that iron becomes what? Gold. It doesn't become philosopher's stone. But these teachers, they convert everyone like themselves. When you come in touch with them, essentially you become that. Not in size, shape, or the power, but you will see, just like them, that I am divine. I don't need anything. I am perfection itself. I am bliss itself. So, this is how that life is lived. You compare, and then you remove what mistake you have been doing, and thus attain to the same state as they were or they are. So, this is how a great sage says that how these saints, they act upon us, they make us like them. So now we are saints. If we follow these teachings, that's it. And one of the teachings that we were discussing about this conjugal relationship and how to move with it so that our lives become perfected, bereft of all desires, all expectations from other. It is the expectation that creates the bondage, and we try to justify those, as if by justifying I am going to be happy, I've become more miserable. Isn't it justified that my spouse should do this? Can I not expect even that much? Okay, expect. By expectation, you create a bondage around yourself, that's all. Expect whatever. What can you expect? You have everything. The expectation is only making you more bound in this world. So do not expect anything. Just see that how you can feel more and more that spirit of oneness. So now we shall read after Sri Ramakrishna was married to Sri Sarada Devi, the Holy Mother, let us turn to what she has to say about the time spent with Holy Mother. We saw a little bit of it. We will see more that it is when the Holy Mother later reminisced about the period when the Master lived with her in Dakshineshwar. She would tell the women devotees, it is impossible to describe his spiritual moods in those days. So that she was a constant witness of that there was not even a tiny vibration in the minds of either of them that let me have some physical enjoyment. It is Sri Ramakrishna was always immersed in that divine awareness. And not only that, that doesn't mean he avoided his wife. No, he did not. You see what he mentions here, that it is Master trained her in all domestic matters, such as how to place a wick in a lamp. That needs training, Here also, many times the wick goes down, and an untrained person will find it very difficult to properly bring it up and light it. Everything to do properly requires what, Naomi? Everything to do properly requires training. Training. Never heard this word, training? You have, yeah. She was giving training, when some new employees came to her company, and then she was told, now you have to train these. And she was wondering, so my job is gone. After they are trained, they are going to kick me out. Not like that. She was to train. Why? With training, then you are able to do those things well. So, Sri Ramakrishna trained Holy Mother in all these so-called mundane secular matters, that how to cook, that also Sri Ramakrishna trained her, that what spices go where. It is to and how to recognize the nature of family members and deal with them appropriately. It is everybody, although all are same as God, everyone is different. And so when you are dealing with someone, you cannot deal in the same way. And a well organized person, you will see when that person is talking to 5 different people, will be talking in different tone, with different emphasis, with different concerns, because each person is actually different. So this is a secular skill that a teacher must develop. It is not really secular, but then one may think of it as something ordinary, mundane in day-to-day life, because our idea of spiritual life is and then do something like that and meditate, or do worship, or sing prayers. That is surely spiritual, but this also is spiritual if you do it in that spiritual attitude. Otherwise, even meditation is not spiritual if it is not done with the proper spirit. So that is what all these are to be looked upon, that it is Sri Ramakrishna is training her. Why? He knew that she will have to do all this work of uplifting large number of devotees who would be coming to her. It is a tremendous thing that Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, their connection, their living together, their learning from each other, and then how Holy Mother learns and imparts this learning. So this is, let us see, that it is, he also taught her various spiritual disciplines, kirtan, meditation, samadhi, and even the knowledge of Brahman. All this was imparted to her by Sri Ramakrishna. So, it is then the author Swami Saradananda tells, O married men, how many of you teach your wives in this way? If this trivial, momentary physical relationship comes to an end for some reason, how many of you can offer respect, devotion, and unselfish love to your wives all throughout your lives in this way? It is, see, this is the test. It is, here it is asked of men, but same applies, to women. It is not gender specific. That for whatever reason, if the relationship comes to an end, still how will you be able to still keep that respect, love intact? It is, he says that without having any physical relationship with his wife, even for a day, he maintained an unprecedented, sweet and loving attitude towards her. He married so that you might learn that there is, bless you, he married so that you might learn that there is a general great purpose, there is a great purpose to marriage apart from sensual pleasure, and that both of you, husband, wife, might practice continence in married life as far as you are able, and fix your sights on this high ideal. So this is how gradually one has to learn to transform our attitude, our connection. It is that is the Sri Ramakrishna is demonstrating the purpose of life. It is, yes, you will get some sensual pleasures. You cannot live without it. But that is not the purpose of marriage. It is to control and to channel all that energy to the higher purpose of life. So, it is there would be a doubt, of course, that how can we adopt, we are not Sri Ramakrishna. We have our desires in life. We want some pleasures. And that is why we enter into the relationships like this. And then Sri Ramakrishna did all this. Why should we? It is, can we? Even if we want, we will not be able to do. There are those very powerful inner drags that will make you, run after those things in spite of your, resolve that I will not. It will still be bent. It is like in a big storm. A storm, say 150 miles an hour winds are blowing, and a tree, can it say, no, no, I will not shake, I will not bend? It is impossible to think of it. Well, 150 miles an hour, it can thank its stars if it doesn't get uprooted. So it is like that when the storm of desires blow. It is difficult for us to withhold to that ideal in spite of our efforts, sincere efforts. So it is asked of Sri Ramakrishna, oh yes, we understand your problem. Swami Saradananda says to us, yes, yes, our problem is understood by these great teachers like Sri Ramakrishna. In answer to your but, we must tell you that Swami Vivekananda remarked about spiritual practices. He said, do you think each one of us, you will be a Ramakrishna Paramahamsa? That will never be. That was unique something. But you can put your life in that mold. So this is mentioned here. As we answer another question here, we shall conclude the wonderful manifestation of the Master's power as a Guru through this marriage and then elaborate on this topic. The minds of ordinary human beings are slaves to sense objects and are focused on external things. Most people invariably think that because the Master was married, it would have been better if he had fathered at least one child before giving up a physical relationship. In fact, there are many modern writers. They blame Sri Ramakrishna for neglecting Holy Mother. He caused such big problem to Holy Mother by observing continence. What that poor lady, how she would get her pleasures. That was very unfair of Sri Ramakrishna. They say like that, but Holy Mother herself doesn't say like that. It is all those so-called attorneys of Holy Mother, self-appointed attorneys. The Holy Mother didn't appoint them. They became Holy Mother's attorneys. And then say how Sri Ramakrishna that tortured Holy Mother into this kind of life without any pleasures and live like just a monastic. Why did he marry then and compelled her to live like this? In fact, Holy Mother's mother used to feel very sad. She thought that my daughter will never get to call anybody as my child. There won't be anybody who will call my daughter mother, because my son-in-law is this type of fellow. So it is. And then when Sri Ramakrishna heard about this, he told his mother-in-law, "Hey, mother-in-law, absolutely don't worry. I will give your daughter so many children that scores of people will keep on calling her mother, 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 and then she will be fed up with their noise. So many children I will give to your daughter." Yeah, that is a very special thing, that to uh, develop a non-genetic connection. Non-genetic. Genetically, you how many children a mother can produce? A few. It is 5 max, or 10, say 12, 15. How many? It is, yeah, if even in other creatures also you will see 500, 5,000. They have the eggs, so many come up. So it is, but non-genetic motherhood, like Holy Mother expressed in her life, and that is from a very different perspective, that she was the mother of all by being divinely connected to them. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna gave her. So let us have one child. That was not possible for Sri Ramakrishna. His awareness never went to think of any person, let alone any person, any object as object of enjoyment. There was no enjoyment needed because he was joy. How can you think of that an ocean? Suppose an ocean looks for that where can I take a bath? I need that bathtub. Where can you get a bathtub big enough to make the ocean take bath? Ocean doesn't need to take bath. It is water. So Sri Ramakrishna, why? Don't you agree, Richard? Ocean has to take bath? Very seldom. What did he say? Very seldom. Did you see even once ocean taking bath? We live in ocean state. Yeah. So just this is, think of the pun on this word state. Our actual state is like ocean, not like a tiny human being. And let us think of our true state. It is ocean. We are the ocean of bliss. Can I get bliss from connecting to something? No, I am bliss. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna demonstrated, that this is how you can make your married life go in that direction. And it may appear impossible to some, but not really, friends. There are couples who lived like that. It is that okay, they did have the tremendous desire for the sexual pleasures, but gradually they gave up all that and they live with each other but without expecting or seeking any physical pleasure. It appears to be impossible, but with practice, what appears to be impossible now, one is able to actualize it. So, this is to teach this. Sri Ramakrishna has demonstrated it in life that it is. So then why did Sri Ramakrishna not? How could Sri Ramakrishna engage in that kind of action to produce a child when there is absolutely no desire? And then if Sri Ramakrishna would do it, that would be taken as an example by the followers that so be a follower of Sri Ramakrishna, uh, we have to produce a child at least. So, and the more the merrier, what people would think in their own way, stretch these things like that. So Sri Ramakrishna could not go that way. So he said that in this context that after marriage and after having one or two kids, they the couple must live like uh, siblings, brother and sister or something, like siblings, without any physical expectations in life. Furthermore, it is our nature to choose passages of the scriptures that are to our liking. Thus, to justify one's actions, one quotes the injunctions about begetting offspring. But the scriptures offer different instructions to qualified aspirants. So, it is different things are said by scriptures in different contexts. So, one should not. What happens is, if I like to do something, then I find out in what scripture it is told that do this. One of our friends, whenever he would go to doctor, the doctor would tell, oh, don't eat fried food. So instead of giving up fried food, he would give up the doctor. so, so we used to tease him. He is on the lookout for a doctor who would tell him, eat fried food. So we look for those things in the scriptures. There are many funny stories about it. That we want to do something, but then our desires, they become very difficult to control. Then there is the story of a king, that it is that king decided, he became the follower of that Vaishnava tradition and decided to give up all except vegetarian diet. But then there was that tremendous desire to eat fish. So, being king, he gathered all these scholars. Hey, I will give you lot of money. Find out in the scriptures that how can I eat fish without violating scriptures. And then the scholars, they depend on how much money you give. Come on. So they found out that some of these fish are to be considered vegetarian. By distorting and torturing text, they found out this meaning, that okay, if you eat these fish, they are to be considered vegetarian. So it is, many people do whatever, okay, vegetarian. Like one gentleman told me eating beef is vegetarian. Uh, what, Ritu? Is eating beef vegetarian? Yes, she agrees. Because the cow eats only grass. And so if I eat cow, I am just eating processed grass, you see. So, what, Naomi, do you agree with this? No? So, it is. So, for our convenience, we distort the scriptures. So, it is like that their intent is to be seen. It is for our benefit, our true benefit, not our pleasure. It is, we like to hear that is pleasant to our ears, rather than something that will elevate us to the higher levels of living. So, this is how it has been described here, that and the last paragraph of this chapter, it is now clear. We have been discussing this, why Sri Ramakrishna married. And this is the 5th class today that our discussion on this has been going on. That concludes here, that it is now clear that Master's marriage took place only to teach us the lofty and pure ideal of married life. We understand this a little by seeing how the Holy Mother throughout her life worshipped the Master as a veritable manifestation of the Divine Mother. For Holy Mother, Sri Ramakrishna was manifestation of Divine Mother. That is how she exclaimed when Sri Ramakrishna left his body. She cried, "Oh Mother Kali, where did you go, leaving me here in lurch?" So this is how the very special marriage between this divine couple was. It is true that a man can hide weakness from others, but never from his wife. From others, you can hide. I was talking about one gentleman who comes here, that how wonderful he is, how nice he is, and what a devoted guy he is. And she quipped, "Don't tell me about this. He knows how to make a show." So it is like that. So because there a man cannot, just hide the weakness. So therefore this Holy Mother statement is very, very important. How Holy Mother looked upon Sri Ramakrishna, and thus You can see that great life, and you can also see how this teachership manifests in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. On this point, the master sometimes told her, "You see, the bigwigs, babus, judges, magistrates, and so on may brag or talk big outside, but they are like earthworms and slaves to their wives. If If an order, however unjustifiable, comes from that inner apartment, meaning from the wife, he has no power to overrule it." Right in the Bible, there is that example, who asked for the head of the John the Baptist. And the king didn't want, but that his wife said, "No, I have to have it." Now, what can king do? Has to get it. What an unjustifiable act. But wife has told, demanded, so has to do it. So it is like that. It is therefore you see in life that it is one car dealer, was telling, a couple told me this, that the man was telling, they both want to, that they went to buy a car. This happened a few years ago, but it is in this context very telling that, and they were looking this car, and then the representatives, the salespeople, they were showing them, but they were paying attention to the wife, to tell her, "Hey, see, this car will suit you best. This car has this thing. Look how it opens, how this is here, and then look, so that, because they also knew the psychology. If the wife says, this is the best one, we have to buy it, the husband, even if he doesn't like, will have to go by, you see. So this is how, therefore Holy Mother's opinion of Sri Ramakrishna carries so much importance. Anyway, so we saw this chapter today, and he says that how Holy Mother all her life worshipped Sri Ramakrishna even while he was alive in body. Alive means in body, and alive without body. Sri Ramakrishna was worshipped by Holy Mother. There are so many very, very touching incidents, friends, to see what kind of that adoration was, bereft of any expectation. So this is the ideal. And as Swami Vivekananda mentions, the ideal has to be always the highest. If something is not highest in our mind, it will never have the position of ideal, because there is something else above it, so that automatically takes the position of ideal. So Sri Ramakrishna demonstrated that ideal. Now let us strive according to our power, but sincerity is important. We have to be very sincere about moving. How fast we move, well, depends on our capabilities, how we can move at our pace. That's fine, it is okay. We saw while climbing, when I was going in Himalayas, so traveling like that, Those days I was much younger, so I was walking fast, going up, and an old man was walking with as this stick slowly bent, and but he said, "Oh, come on, you guys go ahead and then pray that I reach. I'm coming too, according to my strength." It is, but both of us are going to reach there. The time may be different, but we all are going to reach there. Let us remember this. According to whatever strength we have, we must use it with immense sincerity. If there is sincerity, the speed doesn't matter. It is, if I have got, say, a bicycle, let me go by bicycle. It is, somebody may go by a car, somebody may fly in a jet. Doesn't really matter. Let me go with whatever I have got. But the ideal must be the same. That is the ideal. And let us strive for that, friends. This concludes this chapter, that Sri Ramakrishna's that teachership was manifested immensely in this his marriage. Now there will be the next chapter, that is will begin at page 471. Today we read the pages 468, 69, 70, and then next is as a guru in his youth. So today our class ended unusually quite early. So you can at least say that, well, that was the benefit today, that class ended early. Any questions? Oh, you have a question? Okay.
Yeah, you said meditation is not spiritual if not done in the right spirit. What is the right spirit?
Right spirit is for the realization of God, for realization of this highest ideal. When you concentrate, meditate on that. Meditation is done for various things, especially these days. There are all these so-called secular uses of meditation too, which cannot be denied. I mean, one surgeon, a heart surgeon, before the surgery, and right here in New York, there was a big article in some very highly rated magazine, that he said it is important for them to meditate, so that all their different parameters, say blood pressure and such things, they get normalized without any additional medication. So he asked them that this is nothing religious. This is just learn to calm down. Just do a rhythmic breathing. Focus on one point. Now all these are the meditation done with the intention is different. It is to increase some concentration, or to get through the surgery well, and such things. So that is what I mean. That there the meditation may not be spiritual, you see. So let us conclude with the closing prayers. It is, you all know that there is this spiritual retreat coming up on Saturday, and I hope most of you have already signed up for that. If not, please sign up if you want to attend. And then next Sunday, coming Sunday, there is the Sunday lecture by the visiting Swami, and after that there is a sitar concert, a music concert. So try to attend that as well. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.